So, hey, everybody, welcome to the Aspiring Authors 3-day live stream. I am live here with my partner, Cheryl Muir, and her and I together are co-hosting the Aspiring Authors online workshop this Sunday, 10 a.m. Central, 11 Eastern, on January 14th. And in that workshop, we're going to be talking to people who really have a dream of writing a book. And myself personally, I want to teach you guys all the things that I wished I would have known. So right now we're going to be answering some questions live. If you have any further questions, let us know what they are, and then let's get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mary, for that amazing introduction. There's a question I wanted to ask you, if that's okay, because I'm sure you get this question all the time. Being a Hay House author, what's the most common question people ask you?
Being a Hay House author, the most common question that people ask me is, well, first of all, a lot of people ask me what it's like, but most people want to know, what is Hay House doing to market your book? So they'll say things like, oh, you're a Hay House author. Hay House must be doing lots of stuff to market your book. And the truth is, the answer to that question, which I'm assuming you want to know, is that Hay House, just like every other publisher, really isn't doing much to market the book. Now, they're doing more now than they were in the beginning. And I just want to take a second to explain that. So when you publish your first book, whether you are self-published or whether you're with a traditional publisher, you really need to understand that you're going to be doing your own book marketing. And so people make an assumption that because I'm with Hay House, and Hay House has a large platform, Hay House has a large mailing list, and really they also have a ton of books, thousands and thousands of books, and they are not promoting and marketing every single author. But they did start marketing me once they saw I was marketing myself. So I kind of feel like I was in this situation where they were really willing to meet me halfway. So like, as I am willing to show up and show them the things that I'm doing, they see me investing in going on podcasts almost on a daily basis. They see that I'm booking speaking events. They see that I'm really doing stuff to engage my audience. Then they gave me an opportunity to speak at the Orlando Hay House writer's workshop, which was very exciting. And now they've given me my own series, Cheryl. Can you imagine that? I have my own Hay House live series.
I love watching your series. So it's every month, isn't it? And you did one, was it yesterday or the day before?
I did it on the 8th. So it was it was on Monday.
Days ago, yeah. So if you're not watching Mary's series on Hay House's Facebook page, it's the main Hay House page. I think it's facebook.com/Hay House. It's every month, and Mary takes questions from viewers, and it's always so. One of the things I really love about it is how honest it is. Your answers are always really, really honest, and I like how you combine science and spirituality. So if anyone's not watching that already, do check it out. But what I'm hearing, Mary, is that once you started doing a lot of the work in building your platform and getting the message out there about your book, that's when your publisher came in and started to put a little bit more resources behind you and give you those opportunities. But you really had to kickstart that process.
That's right. And so I think that what I was able to show them is that I can invest in my own content creation. So, why would they give me a Facebook Live if I don't have something to share? So my ability to be able to constantly be creating new content, that is key. So step number one, you want to be constantly creating new content so that you have more and more to share with your audience. And that's really easy to do. And at some point, I'm sure we're going to discuss that. Another thing is really, They wanted me to have a weekly email, like a weekly email newsletter. That was actually one of the things they asked me to do. And so we have a weekly email. It's called Fearless Ambition Newsletter. And in that newsletter, people get a blog. They also get a free downloadable worksheet. So that makes it, like I'm giving some value. And so, yes, when Hay House noticed my efforts, then the first thing they did for me was they sent my book out in an email to all of their, millions of people on their email list. And within I think 10 days of them doing that, the book hit #1 on Amazon. So your publisher stepping in, if they have a large platform like Hay House does, can really make a big difference.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I remember when I went to the Hay House Writers Workshop last year in the UK, Reed Tracy was there. And for those who don't know Reed, he's the CEO of Hay House. And he actually said to us, and maybe this was just sort of a general stat, but he said to us, we expect you as a first-time author with Hay House to do 80% of the selling of the book. And there was an audible gasp in the room because a lot of people, 80%. I know it's a big ask for a lot of aspiring authors who think that a big publisher will quote unquote save them, and that's just not the case at all. And I know that certainly hasn't been your experience. You've had to do, gladly do a lot of the work in creating that platform.
And you know what? I'll tell you another benefit of that, Cheryl. If I had not done that work, then what would I do if I could not handle myself like on camera, which I'm still learning? I learn new things every day about being on camera. But if I wasn't able to handle myself, what would I do when I was given the opportunity is I would probably blow it.
Right, we need that practice. So for those of you who maybe haven't seen me before, I'm Cheryl Muir and I'm a media and publishing strategist, and my background is in public relations. So what I used to do in PR was, in addition to winning media interviews for lots of different multinational companies in a myriad of different industries, I actually did media training. And that's a really interesting point you raised, Mary, about having that practice on camera, because if somebody hasn't been on camera before, it can be really, really overwhelming. So certainly building up that practice of going live on your Facebook page, like Mary and I are now, gives you that practice of being in interviews. And I also recommend starting smaller, going for smaller podcasts and getting used to just answering questions verbally before being on camera and just sort of easing yourself into it. So if you're watching, I can see we do have a number of people on live. Just pop your question down below, whether you have a question for myself or Mary, whether it's promotion and publicity for me, or whether it's writing and publishing for Mary. Do feel welcome to put your questions down below, and we'll do our very, very best to answer all of them tonight.
Yeah, that's great. So Cheryl, what time is it for you? So right now it's noon Central Time for us, but what time is it in the UK?
It's 6:10 at night. I'm saying this evening because I'm looking through the tiny gap in the curtains here, and it's pitch black because it's January and it's the north of England. So it's very much nighttime here. Everyone has well and truly hibernated until about June, I think.
Yeah, and let me assure you that it is dark here too, because we have fog and cloud cover today. So one of the things I thought we could talk about today on the live stream is podcasting. What do you think about that topic?
I love that topic. Podcasts have absolutely blown up at the moment. It's a really, really great way to promote yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so why do you think that all of a sudden podcasts have like reemerged?
Yeah, I mean, they've been a thing for a long, long time, but they do seem to have had a massive uptake, particularly in the last 6 months or so, and the last little bit here. I think the reason for it is a lot of to do with user behavior. We're so busy now, and we love watching videos like this, and hopefully everyone will come on in and join us live and watch the replay. But the great thing about podcasts is you can really listen to them anywhere. I got a new car recently. I've actually, one of the first things I did with the guy I bought the car from, the dealer, he set up my phone so that I could listen to my podcast in the car. So you can listen to podcasts anywhere. I know for myself, I always listen to them when I'm doing meal prep or making a meal, or I'm on my way to the gym, or I'm in the car, whatever it might be. So it's this really accessible way of getting information and content on almost any subject imaginable. And it's so easy to consume it when we're on the go. And that's really why that's happened. You also don't need to be on Wi-Fi to listen to it either. Obviously, the podcast download when you're in a Wi-Fi area, then when you're on the go, you can listen to them as long as the podcasts have downloaded. So it's this really amazing way of getting this information when you're out and about. And yeah, we're seeing everybody kind of start a podcast at the moment, which is really great to see. So it's a great way to start practicing those interview techniques. So I'd really recommend everyone tries and get on a podcast as soon as they can.
I will tell you something, it's amazing to me too, like how quickly when you start becoming consistent with your social media presence, how many offers that you will start to get. So I've actually been offered, I think I'm up to 4 offers to have my own podcast now. And I've really wanted to take that seriously. But what I could share with the audience, especially today, is getting booked on a podcast. Mm-hmm. So it's really incredible. It's an incredible feeling to get booked on a podcast. Like you really look forward to it. You can anticipate it. And especially if it's a show that you're particularly a fan of. So this week I had my show air. That is, the show is called Untamed the Wild Soul with Elizabeth D'Alto. This is one of my personal favorite podcasts because an episode of her show that I had watched a long time ago, like really made an impact on my life. Like, to think about that. In a 45-minute podcast, or maybe it was an hour, the information that I got in that 1 hour changed my entire life. And it was all to do with like the masculine and the feminine. And I think about that information now on a daily basis. And so when I got to go on that show, imagine what kind of thrill that was. And then when, the show just aired actually on Monday at the same time as my Hay House Live. So it was such a thrill. And even though I've been on like something, I think we're getting close to 150 shows, it's still exciting for me. And all of that practice will help you become a better speaker. Because one of the things that is important to understand when you start to write is you want to be able to also talk about your book. And being on a podcast is a great way to help you memorize your material. So we've just got something coming in from Samantha. It says, "Hi, lady Samantha Keith. Hi, thank you so much for watching." Samantha is working on her first book about her personal weight loss journey. Oh my gosh, like that is a huge, huge topic. And her goal is to put it free on her website to begin building a platform. Yay! I'll say more about that in a moment. She fantasizes about being a Hay House author. Oh, Samantha, I'm thinking you're my soul sister here because that's what I used to do. I used to fantasize about becoming a Hay House author, and I used to go, I am Louise Hay protege. Like I just decided I was Louise's protege.
And what's so amazing about that, Mary, is you've seen your book now sandwiched between Wayne Dyer's book and Louise Hay's book on Amazon. And I saw that and I was so excited for you because I knew that was a massive moment for you.
And the first time that my book was spotted at Barnes & Noble, it was in between Tony Robbins and Dale Carnegie.
Oh, come on.
I'm not kidding.
That's amazing.
Okay, what is your best tip for a new writer who wants to publish multiple books? Okay, so Samantha, I hope you're still watching because I want to answer your question. And I'm jumping in. We'll both answer the question. Yes, sure. So I'm going to tell you what Hay House said because I do want to publish multiple books. They said focus on your first book. Mm-hmm. So before you're worried about like publishing multiple books, focus on your first book. Focus on the book that you're writing now because we can't really predict the future or know if we're going to be able to get more book deals. So I've created this, I don't know about you, and let me know if this resonates with you guys, because what happens with me is that I will get an explosion of book ideas. It's like, in fact, I've got something I want to show you.
That's so funny. I'm exactly the same. I get all the ideas at once. I get like 4 books at once.
Are you guys ready for this? Here's Mary's brain. Here's Mary's brain on books. I'll do that again. Here's Mary's brain. Here's Mary's brain on books.
I have the same brain. It looks a lot like that.
This is called a Hoberman sphere. It's pretty cool. Okay, I'm done playing with my toys. All right. So yeah, Reed gives that advice, like really focus on the first book. Now, I made this rule of thumb for myself. If I can write, when I get a book idea, right? When I get these book ideas that seem to come at me all the time, my first rule is, can I write an outline? And I think, okay, if I can write an outline, then my next step is, can I write a proposal? And then if I can write a proposal, then I can write an entire book. Because I know if I can have enough information for the proposal, I'll be able to have enough information for the book. So that's my little tip for your question. Cheryl, what would you say to that?
Yeah, first of all, hi Samantha. I know Samantha personally. She's been in some of my groups previously and we've done some work together. And Samantha's transformation, and Samantha, I hope you don't mind me saying this publicly, is absolutely phenomenal. She runs marathons. She's a mom of 2 boys. She's absolutely incredible. And Samantha, I know your book's going to help so many. The one thing I would say, and this is something Samantha knows so well with her dedication to marathon training, is dedication to the book writing process and the discipline of writing your book. So just like you would train for a marathon, I know I shouldn't be telling Samantha this, she's the one that runs them, I just know the theory, but like you would train for a marathon and you would do 5 miles one week, then you build up to 7 miles, to 8 miles, to 9 miles, 10, etc. It's quite similar to writing a book, and you have that end goal in mind of, say, 60,000 words, and let's say you want it published in a year, and you factor in 2 months for the production process, whether you're going through the process of that with Hay House after winning the writers contest like Mary did, or whether it's self-publishing or assisted or hybrid publishing, you work back from there and you say, okay, if I take 2 months production off, I now have 10 months to write the thing, and I've got 60,000 words to find. So just average that out, which is about 6,000 words a month, and then use that and break it down as a goal. So you might want to break that down into 1,500 words a week, which works out as about 2 blog posts a week. So that feels really, really manageable. You might even want to break it down further and say, I'm going to do 300 words a day, or whatever it might be. So that's how I like to write a lot of my books, is to get the overall word count total and then break it down and meet those goals. So it's almost like training for an event and having those little marker points and knowing that by month 1, month 2, the end of month 3, you're going to be at a certain word count, and that keeps you on track. So it's really that discipline and having that structure in place so that you do write the first book and then move on to the second one, rather than that temptation of thinking about the second, third, and fourth books, which I'm guilty of because I currently have a number of books in the works and currently only 1 is published. So I'm going to call myself out publicly on that behavior, and hopefully you guys can keep me accountable to that. It is really easy to move on to the next book and feel really excited before the one you're currently working on is finished. So put that structure in place. And I know, Samantha, your book's going to be amazing and I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, and I want to quickly say hi to my girlfriend Sherry. I'm glad that she's joining us. I know that she has a lot of interest in writing and building a platform. And I want to go back to Samantha's comment, because she said a lot in here. And I love that you fantasize about being a Hay House author, because Hay House is one of the publishers that really does give opportunities to people to be able to publish that with them. So I was the first prize winner in the Hay House Writers Workshop, which meant that I won a $10,000 advance, as well as getting my book published through Hay House, which has opened a lot of doors. Now, Cheryl just went to that very same workshop, but she went to the one in Bristol, UK. So I really want to encourage you, and I'm going to assume, Samantha, that you're also in the UK. So I want to encourage you to look into that workshop as well. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention out of your comment is that you are going to put a freebie on your website. So that's a really great thing to talk about, because in order to build your platform, I think the most common thing that people are doing today is giving a lot of content away for free. So when I got invited to do this Hay House monthly series, and I really wanted to you're going to write an outline anyway. I was going to write an outline about what I'm talking about, which was New Year, New You, and how 2018 can be the focus of 2018 being one of unconditional love, prosperity, and security. And then I had all this beautiful thing about how we're going to call this in by being grateful for our own special talents, such as being a writer, as well as being grateful for our resources. So I took all of this stuff and I put it into a 12-page workbook. And then I I created the workbook with a beautiful cover. And if one of my assistants is listening to me, if you could bring me one, because I actually gave mine away on the morning show this morning, I'll show you guys the cover. It's really pretty. But if you can post this on things like Pinterest, if you can create a free, like a Facebook ad, and you're doing a giveaway, people will respond to that pretty quickly. And then now you've got sort of a starting place for your platform. Guess what, everybody? I had 0 platform when I started. So on the day I started writing my proposal, I had 0 followers. I mean, I had like my LinkedIn friends, and I had my Facebook friends. You have to get it out of the drawer. Sorry, they're looking for it. They're looking in the wrong place. So yes, your idea of doing a free giveaway is absolutely going to do this to your platform. Are you ready?
I think we need to use that in every live stream from now on. I love it.
Make your platform go from this to this.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Here's our current free giveaway. Isn't that beautiful?
So pretty, the cover. I love it.
Roxanne made it.
Beautiful. Yo, Roxanne.
Go, Roxanne.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And one thing I'd like to say, Samantha, I know Samantha's based in California, there on the West Coast in the States. There is a Hay House Writers Workshop in Vegas in November, I believe. What I'd love to do, Samantha, if you want to go for that, what I'll do is I'll gift you my course, Book Blast Bootcamp, and I'll throw that in for free for you, that just as a gift to you, if that's something that you want to do. So they usually only Hay House run 1 or maybe 2 maximum writers workshops per year in each country. So there'll be 1 in Australia, 1 in the UK, which I went to, 1 in Canada. There's 1 in Toronto in May of this year, and Vegas as well.
She says here that she's actually not far from the Hay House office. So she must live in Southern California. Yeah, she says, I live in Southern California. Yeah. So you know what, Samantha, make sure that you're following my page, because I'm going to be coming there very soon. Actually, Cheryl's coming near there as well. I'm going to be coming on a radio show. So maybe I'll do like a meet and greet or something. Oh my gosh, everybody is loving the Hoberman sphere. Let's show that again.
It is amazing.
You know why I got this? I actually didn't get it for our live stream. I got it because I wanted to talk about like expanding your consciousness and your awareness. And I thought, do you want to have your expansion or your consciousness like this, or do you want it to be like this? But like I'm seeing now, do you want your platform to be this size? What if you could 10x it? Yeah, loving that.
It's such a great representation of consciousness. Another thing I'd say as well about the Hay House Writers Workshop, I think this is going to be really valuable to a lot of you, is when Reed Tracy was at our workshop, he actually gave us the stats of the likelihood of having your manuscript chosen. So if you go to a workshop, there's usually about 300 people there, and they receive about 100 proposals, which was really interesting, because that means 2/3 of the people who attend end up not getting around to writing the proposal or whatever happens. So you only have 100 people submitting proposals. So your book is chosen 1 out of 100. Reed told us that they usually get so many proposals that their ratio is picking 1 manuscript out of 10,000 if it's an unsolicited manuscript. So if you go to this workshop, you are increasing your chances from 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 100. And he also said, even if you're not winning the contest, they often, just as good business as any publisher would, if they see a really great manuscript, even if you're not the winner, they may put that into production and offer you a book deal anyway. And there are as many as 2 or 3 picked out of every workshop. So that actually brings your chances down to 1 in 30, because there's 1 in every 33, because there's 3 proposals picked out of 100 people. So that just gives you an idea of how much your chances are increased by attending a workshop. Even if that's the only reason you attend a workshop, it's worthwhile just to get that opportunity. It's much better than a 1 in 10,000 chance, that's for sure.
It is so true. So, hey, Cheryl, how about if we take a moment and talk about what we are including in the Aspiring Authors Online workshops? So we are very excited, and Cheryl was just talking about the Hay House Writers Workshop. So this is the thing that I'm going to start our workshop off talking about is, in order to get a book deal, what you really need to do is write a proposal. And a proposal is about it could be anywhere, like on the short side, 20 pages up to 50 pages. You don't want to go much more than that. I think mine was 51 pages, but we're going to go over every single section in detail. I'm going to tell you what each section is. I'm going to tell you how to do the research for each section. I've even created handouts. I'm so excited of how to do your book comparisons, because the comparative title analysis is a very important section of the book proposal. I'm going to tell you I'm going to give you a guide for your platform. So because you're going to need to report all of your social media numbers, and that's going to take up a good portion of the workshop, where we're just going to be talking about the proposal. We'll talk about the sample chapter that you're going to turn in. We're going to talk about your chapter abstracts, and your free gift for this section is you're actually going to get a copy of my proposal. So at first I was just going to do a sneak peek, but I've decided to give all of you guys the full proposal. That way you can compare, and especially if you've already purchased my book, you can compare the proposal to the actual book itself, and you can see what, like, for example, you'll notice that the name of the book changed. So it's one book on the proposal and it's another title on the actual book itself. And I'll go over the reasons for that in the online workshop. So we're going to talk about all of these things with a proposal. And then I'm also going to give you some of the tools that I used, such as a social media cheat sheet. I'm also going to provide you with a chapter planner so that you can help use that as an outline when you get to the writing process. And then Cheryl, take it away. What are you going to be adding to this lovely foray?
Absolutely. It's a really nicely well-rounded workshop, because you're covering the writing and the publishing and the book proposal side, and I'm taking care of the platform building, the promotion, and the publicity. And some of the free gifts I'll be giving is my Get Huffed online media course. So anything to do with guest blogging. I've got clients published in places like Inc., Mind Body Green, Elephant Journal, Huffington Post. And it can sometimes feel really overwhelming when you're looking at all these places and scratching your head and wondering, how do I actually get through the door? Because I've emailed them and I've heard nothing back. So I'm including my course, which is a $500 value. It has 4 modules, it's 4 hours, and it takes you through the whole thing. That's included as a bonus with the workshop. I'm also giving you my pitch note guide. A pitch note is an email, but it's a very specific kind of email that's used in public relations, and it's structured in a certain way that gives the media the information they're looking for and actually positions you as the expert and as someone who's giving them really helpful expertise, rather than somebody who is just bugging them to get a media interview. And I'm also going through in the workshop, I'm going through the entire process of building your platform, pitching to places like guest blogging outlets as well as podcasts, and then moving on to some mainstream media like radio and TV. For example, Mary was on a morning TV news show in Chicago this morning, so we'll be covering all of that. So yeah, it's really everything you need to write, publish, and promote your first book, and I really hope you'll join us.
So one of the things that I'm actually really excited about is Cheryl sharing this course, her master course called Get Huffed, because I'm actually excited to take this myself. So even though I'm published with Hay House, I have not had any of my blogs published in a major publication yet. And let me tell you something, getting your blog picked up by a major media outlet like the ones she mentioned, Huffington Post, Thrive Global, Mind Body Green, Forbes, Inc., Success, I mean, the list goes on and on. It can literally change your life very quickly. One of my favorite authors, her name is Tracy McMillan. I actually saw her on Oprah. And the way she got on Oprah is because she had, I think it was a HuffPost piece, and it really went viral. And it was called Why You're Not Married Yet. And then it went so viral that they actually just offered her a book deal. So another way that you can actually get a book deal is if you write, or if you get a guest blog spot for a major media outlet, and then that post starts to get a lot of traction and go viral, then what can happen is a publisher will just automatically notice you, and what they will do is just offer you a book deal.
That is true. Your platform is your power. So if you're building your platform and you're using it, that's a good tagline. I should have locked that one away for something there.
Yeah.
If you're building your platform, it really gives you a lot of leverage and a lot of currency, really. Publishing is a business at the end of the day. And so a publisher wants to know that their investment in you, which is your book deal, whether it's 10K or whether it's a six-figure book deal, they want to know they're going to make that money back. And they need to know, given that 80% rule, you're expected to sell 80% of the book. They need to know you have people to sell it to. You have, in other words, an audience who are loyal, who understand your skill set, who will buy from you, whether it's a product or a service or a workshop or a book. And they need to know that you have those eyeballs on your content effectively. So it's really, really important to grow your platform, whether it's through social media or moving on to those online media outlets that Mary was talking about. I actually have an opportunity that I haven't talked about publicly yet, but I'll share it here for the first time, just to give you guys an incentive to attend live, because we always like to throw in lots of surprises for you. So I've actually
do the drum roll.
Drum roll. I've been accepted to write for Forbes, which is an absolutely incredible opportunity, and I'm really excited. So that's an opportunity I'll be pursuing in the next little bit. They've accepted me. They've invited me to come and join their Coaches Council, and I'm really, really grateful for that. It's going to really put my business in a completely different level, and I'd love to be able to, over the next few months, really report back on how that changes things for me, and just really give myself as a little bit of a case study as to how much that can elevate you once you have that logo behind you.
Yeah. So, and that's different from just getting one blog published. You're saying that, can you tell me what that looks like, that you're saying I'm been chosen to write for Forbes?
Yeah, so they have basically a contributing writer position, and with the Forbes Coaches Council, they're getting coaches from all kinds of different disciplines to write for them. So there's lots of different things it involves, but it will be a monthly and or a bi-weekly, depending on what frequency we decide on, blog posts about my area of expertise. What I'm also thinking of doing is doing it as a Q&A style. I've seen there's a really amazing lady who does that for Forbes, and she does it with regards to job seekers. So they'll write to her and say, hey, Liz, I have this interview, and what do you think about it? And she will base her response around that. So I'm thinking of doing it that way too. So if you have any questions, by all means, let me know, and you might be in my monthly column with Forbes.
So you could be like, Dear Cheryl.
Dear Cheryl, I always want to be an agony aunt. So I think this is my... I did when I was about 12, 13. I wanted to be one of those agony aunts in the teen magazines. So this is the dream.
You know what? Which is why it's good to have a fantasy. And Samantha commented here that, Cheryl, you were actually instrumental in getting her published on Mind Body Green. That's one of my goals. I want to get published on Mind Body Green. She said you educated her in that area. She's also been published in Thrive Global. You know, I've noticed Thrive is huge on LinkedIn. Have you noticed that as well?
I have. It's really interesting, the shift between what happened with HuffPost and Thrive Global. Obviously, Ariana Huffington left the Huffington Post, which she founded, and went on to Thrive Global. That had a lot to do with her own personal experience with burnout and going to a more, dare I say, holistic approach and setting up Thrive. But it's huge, and it's been really big on LinkedIn. And we've talked about LinkedIn between us, Mary. We really think that platform is going to be huge in the next little bit because of how their algorithms work, and how you can see other people's shared content, which is no longer the case on Facebook. So LinkedIn is a bit of an untapped platform at the moment.
You know, I agree. And I have been very focused on LinkedIn. So with that being said, if any of you want to post your name as it appears on LinkedIn, or if you want to post your link, even if you go and come back and post it, I will send you a connection request on LinkedIn, and I'll post mine in here too. So I've actually been able to grow my LinkedIn by 700 followers in just like the last week and a half. Because I uploaded like my email list. You know, we can talk about that maybe tomorrow on the live stream, because I did run into some difficulties. So it wasn't as easy. You know, they make it seem easy, like just upload your email list. But then I ended up running into some trouble because they actually have a limit of 3,000 invites. So it caused us to exceed the limit. So I'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow. And Samantha, your idea about giving a freebie away is wonderful. That is how I grew my platform to over 10,000 people in less than 6 months, and now a total platform of 30,000 in under a year. My goal, which Cheryl knows, it might be kind of a great crazy goal, is to be at 100,000 by the end of the year. We'll see where it gets me, but I'm kind of a big goal setter anyway. Like, I like to set my goals high because I believe I'm just going to get, more than if I'd set my goals at like, a smaller number. So if anybody has any last minute questions, or even if you think of one later, just go ahead and post them on here. And like I said, my invitation, you can throw your LinkedIn profile, and I'm sure Cheryl will also be sending you a request as well. And hello, Michelle from Chicago. I really appreciate you tuning in.
Michelle.
So, and I think that, I can't remember if Michelle's already signed up for the workshop, but I feel like her name
Michelle's joining us, which is great.
So, all right. So we will see you again tomorrow for the next live stream. And again, just remember the Aspiring Authors Online Workshop is happening on Sunday, where we're going to be teaching you the first steps to starting getting your book published. We're going to talk about a lot more than what we talked about today, and we're going to teach you how to do these things. So it's not just going to be a list of you have to write an overview, you have to write it's going to be how do you write an overview? How do you write a proposal? How do you get, the platform started? All of those things. So, all right, anything further, Cheryl?
Just wait to let everyone know that we'll be live tomorrow at 12 noon Chicago. No, it will be 2 p.m. Chicago, because it's 8 p.m. UK time. I'm getting the time zone right. It's 8 o'clock my time. That's correct, isn't it? I was going to be so smart and give you the time then, and it completely went out of my head.
No,
it's 8 p.m. London and 2 p.m. Chicago tomorrow.
I can't believe that we haven't ever messed up our times, because
it's amazing. I know.
Okay, we are tomorrow and Friday. We are 10 a.m. Central, 11 Eastern, and whatever time that is for you.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. I'll figure it out on my side, guys, at work. Mary knows what's up. It's all good.
All right, and thank you, Samantha. Thank you, everyone, for, Michelle says she's signing up for sure. That's great. You know what, guys? This could be the thing that really becomes that light bulb moment. I had a moment when I was, when I was at the very first start of my journey, I was just thinking like, what the F? Like, every just thing seemed so overwhelming, and like I was never going to be able to get this proposal done. And I had one light bulb moment, which I will share with you during the workshop, that really was the thing that helped me get all the pieces in place. And once I had that one piece of information, I had no worries after that. None.
Amazing. I can't wait to hear that light bulb moment. I know it's going to give a lot of people a breakthrough and help them get their book off the ground. Because that's the thing, when you start writing, it feels so overwhelming, but you just need those steps. You need that insight, you need those steps, you need that process, and that's what we're going to be giving you in the workshop. So we hope you'll be able to join us for that.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Until tomorrow, we will wish you massive love.
Bye for now, everyone.
Bye.